Today we want to talk about what is a kitchen table divorce, what it is, what you can do, and how we can help you.
That sounds good.
So Tyler, what do you think a kitchen table divorce is?
Well, to me, kitchen table divorce is two people, a couple who's really looking to minimize costs of a divorce. I think people think about getting divorced. They may be there, they may be ready to get divorced, but knowing and talking to other people, divorce can be expensive. And so I think that people think if we sit down and figure it out ourselves, we can save a lot of money.
And especially in these days, saving a lot of money is a #1 priority. It is expensive to grocery shop, to go out to eat, to travel to see family or friends, and people are prioritizing where they need to spend their money. And a lot of times that is not on a lawyer when you feel that you can do the research and the negotiations yourself.
Right.
And we actually provide a lot of informative resources for people to learn about the divorce process, learn about the details that need to be addressed in a divorce. And our hope is that that does help people in that group of people that can talk to their spouse about divorcing. And you can find valuable information on our social media accounts, on our blog, on our podcast. And we do hope that that helps people have conversations about divorce, or sit down and have a kitchen table divorce where they work out the details at home.
Yeah.
So what do you think are some tips for a successful kitchen table divorce if people really want to take this process into their own hands? What do you think they can do?
Well, I think one thing that people can do for kitchen table divorce is come up with an outline of things that need to be discussed in a divorce. I don't think you can just sit down with your partner and say we're going to get a divorce and we need to split this, and this. I think it's a little more detailed than that. And, coming up with an outline is a good starting point to discuss, and it can keep you on track and, help guide you through the process.
Preparation is key.
Yes.
So developing your outline, whatever's important to you, so that when you're sitting down and discussing emotionally challenging topics, you can stay on track, you can stay focused, and hopefully you can find some resolution.
Mm-hmm.
And that outline, if you're doing a kitchen table divorce, really can be anything that you find important. It can be a list of things that you want to talk about your children. When are you going to tell your children you're divorcing? How are you telling your children you're divorcing? What type of schedule do you think that you will have for your children after divorce? What are the considerations that you need to ensure the children are either remaining in school or changing schools, and what do their activities look like? How you're going to make decisions for your children, and then an outline of your financial items. What are your assets? What are your debts? What are your liabilities? Who's going to keep what? What is going to be divided? How is it going to be divided? So I think you're right. An outline is key to having a successful kitchen table divorce.
Yeah. And, I think that, when you come up with this outline, you can start to see right away is the couple, able to do a kitchen table divorce, especially when you're starting to break down finances, right? If there's, financial infidelity, adultery, things like that going on, which is causing the breakdown in the relationship, you're starting to get into places where you don't want to discuss, over at the kitchen table. So it's important to realize that, like you said at the beginning, this kind of breaks it down to who is actually can go through a kitchen table divorce, but having an outline and being open to it is a good place to be.
Yeah, and I think it is a good starting point. If you both think that you're able to sit down and have a serious conversation about divorce, and you're both safe, your children are safe, I encourage you having that discussion, because it will either, as you just said, allow you to assess, can you continue this process? Is it emotionally too hard? Do you not have adequate information to complete that process? Or are you in over your head and you do need professional help? So either way, it's going to help you identify issues. And so just having that conversation, it might take a few table meetings to accomplish it. You have to be open to multiple discussions.
Yeah.
If you find after that first kitchen table discussion that you don't think that this is appropriate for your family, we're here to help. We're here to help you also identify that outline, to organize you so that you can have productive conversations at home. If you want some support while you're going through a kitchen table divorce, we can definitely help develop that outline. But I think it's important for you to realize that you should be organized, and you might need to have multiple discussions with this person.
Right. And we can help in that organization of an outline that you mentioned, because, you should lay out all the topics you want to discuss, but, to actually get a divorce in Illinois, correct, you need to have certain items need to be included in any agreement, that satisfies the jurisdiction of where you're getting divorced in a marital settlement agreement.
Yes. Yeah. So we can keep you on task with the relevant information and identify all of those legal issues that have to be resolved within your contract.
Yeah.
And that helps it become an enforceable divorce judgment at the end of the day. But I wanted to circle back. You made a point earlier, Tyler, about the type of family or the type of couple that might even be able to have a kitchen table divorce. And I wanted to talk a little bit more about that, because there's this concept of perhaps what's called soft reasons for a divorce. For instance, people feel maybe they've outgrown one another, or they have different interests in life and they just don't find those interests compatible anymore, or they just simply don't like each other anymore, and they find that they're fighting too much and they think it would be better to get divorced. Those are some soft reasons for divorce that I think are appropriate for a kitchen table divorce. If you have some of these other hard reasons for divorce or complex reasons for divorce, it could be physical abuse, mental abuse, alcohol addiction, drug addiction. It could be adultery or infidelity. If there's a complete lack of trust, you might find that this kitchen table divorce process is not appropriate for you.
Right. Well, the idea, saving money, is a goal. Some of those hard reasonings for divorce, they don't work with, especially like you said, if there's no trust in a relationship, there's no way to really sit down and discuss the most appropriate ways to handle things.
Right. So if there's any of those hard reasons for a divorce involved, that's going to make your divorce complex and you need an added layer of protection, reach out to us sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
If you have some of those soft reasons for a divorce, and not to minimize those reasons, but perhaps it's more, we're just not in this partnership any longer for whatever soft reason there is, this kitchen table divorce is most likely for you. And our tips are, be organized, gather financial information as early as possible, have an outline for things that you want to discuss, be open to multiple discussions. Even as a mediator, people will call me and say, how long is mediation going to take? This is simple. We probably can just knock this out in one session.
Right.
And I can say in 20 years of mediating cases, I take it back. I probably have 1 or 2 cases that we did actually accomplish in one session, but we had very limited issues to discuss, and they perhaps either had the court work out all the other issues beforehand, or they were just able to work out the issues. But if you were thinking of, a kitchen table divorce and you have both parenting and financial issues to resolve, just know it's probably not going to get finished in just one discussion.
Yeah.
You're going to have a series. I would say, though, if you get to maybe a 3rd meeting and you're not feeling like you're resolving your differences, or that you have a really good understanding of your financial circumstances or what the plan looks like for your children, I would say after that 3rd kitchen table talk, if you're not resolving your differences, it's time to probably pick up the phone, call our office, and sit down for a planning session, because we will be able to move you forward.
Right.
So under the best of circumstances, you might have it in 2 or 3 sessions. If you're getting past a 3rd session, if you're being productive, continue it. If you're not being productive, that might be a time to start building your divorce team so that you can continue discussions productively. The other thing about a kitchen table divorce that our listeners might not realize, you still need an attorney, or you still have court involvement at the end.
Right.
The judge still needs to approve whatever agreement you came up with. So that means somebody needs to have the time and resources or energy to be able to draft your agreement and submit it to the court for the court's approval. There's a pro se courtroom at least in DuPage County. Other counties in Illinois also have self-represented or pro se courtrooms that can help you. There are simplified forms if you don't have a complex estate or you don't own property available online that you can fill out. But I would say a bulk of divorces, you own a home, you have bank accounts, you have children issues. It can get complicated pretty quickly if you need to draft a financial settlement document as well as a parenting plan.
Right. Even if you have everything worked out, you still need, that all needs to be drafted into, legal language.
Right.
And the courts require certain forms and,
Yeah. And so just having the agreement reached around the kitchen table is not your final step.
Right.
There's a few more tasks that you need to complete before you actually finalize your divorce. And again, I just gave you some resources of how you can do that on your own. And a lot of families do. And a lot of families say, okay, I've done all of the hard work. I've sat down with my spouse. We've worked out all of the details. And now I'll hire an attorney for the limited scope of finalizing the case in court.
Yeah.
And we recently had a case like that. I believe we were out of Lake County, where they found us through this topic of a kitchen table divorce. They worked out all details. They did not have children, but they worked out all of their financial details on their own. And they came to our office. We verified information. We still looked at financial documents that they produced to one another. And we wrote up their financial settlement agreement, and we finalized it in court for a much lower cost and for less time that they invested in the process than would have otherwise, than what it would have otherwise taken if they did not do a kitchen table divorce.
Sure.
And so they were pretty satisfied with that service. They didn't have to deal with the headache of the court system. And we were able to take their kitchen table divorce agreement, put that into a legal document, and they were both then ready and comfortable with signing the document. And they are now, living separately, but it's my understanding they're still able to talk to one another, and it wasn't a very acrimonious divorce. All because they started with a kitchen table divorce and then realized they just wanted some additional help and legal support to finalize the case.
Yeah.
Do you think that there's other things that they need to know about with a kitchen table divorce?
There's, I think, just being open to the time of discussions and what the discussions are about are kind of the main things. I think you'll learn stuff along the way that you may not have known or realized. And, so just being open and honest, at the kitchen table, I think will give people, their best chance at, completing the task.
Yeah, I agree. And again, we've talked about it earlier today, but realizing there's a lot of things that will influence your divorce process, whether that's a kitchen table divorce or filing a divorce case in court. There are many things that are going to influence your productivity, the timing, or how many times you have to meet. That can be health-related issues. That could be delays with obtaining financial documentation. That could be just emotional delays. Usually one party is ready to divorce and the other party might be reluctant or ambivalent. And you have to realize it's more than just paperwork.
Yeah.
You're dealing with an intimate issue. You won't see eye to eye on everything, and it takes time.
Yeah.
But we're here to help you. If you get the whole kitchen table divorce accomplished, we can take over and deal with all the details. If you missed any topics that your county says you need to resolve or says there's a task you need to do, we will inform you of that, and we will help you through the process so that your kitchen table divorce is in compliance with any Illinois court that is going to need to review and approve your settlement. Thanks for listening to our podcast today about a successful kitchen table divorce. You can contact us for any help at 𝗏𝗏law.com or give us a call at 630-891-2478. We have a lot of free resources on our website and blog that can help you further. But if you need additional one-on-one support, we can also provide you with legal advice and pertinent information to finish your kitchen table divorce.